Hello people, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. Guys, I hope you are well. Today, the 12th of the 7th of 2021 is 2 years to the day when myself and my soon-to-be ex-wife separated and I moved into my accommodation. 2 years. Initially, when I moved into this little property, it's really small, very small indeed. But to me, it was not a matter of the size. It was a matter of escaping and to have opportunity to heal from all the narcissistic abuse and I would even go as far as to say emotional torture and psychological torture that I experienced for 17 years. And when I look at where I am today, 2 years ago, my life was a total mess. It was so chaotic, it was not even funny. A bit of disclosure here. If I wanted to make myself a cup of coffee, now it's quite simple. Mug, coffee, sugar. Back in the day I used to drink some milk, hot water, put it in, stir, cup of coffee. 2 years ago, when I wanted a cup of coffee, it took me 45 minutes to process what I needed to do when in order to have a cup of coffee. Disastrous. There's been a few people along the way who has helped me, who has stood by me. Lara is one of them. And then there are other two people who helped me along the way in big ways as well. I don't want to mention their names for confidentiality's sake and to prevent them from being embarrassed. I value them too much for that. At this point, I also want to suggest that my parents have been absolutely phenomenal. Even although they saw what was happening because of the Narc and her ways of separating and breaking things apart, they themselves felt completely disabled and helpless to try and intervene, to try and get me in a place where I was able to take at least a little bit more responsibility and focus and get some direction in my life. Because at that point in time, believe me, I felt like I was in a whirlwind, tornado, hurricane, and avalanche all at the same time. At one point I said someone at a previous job who I have got no time for now, that the only way I could describe my life in terms of picture form was a incredibly broken vase with 100 elephants stood on top of it, and the vase was held together by sellotape. Unfortunately, that individual who works for this particular authority could not comprehend what I said, because her comments to me was, you need to strengthen your vase. Remove the sellotape. Yeah, right. However, that was as useful as an ashtray on a motorbike. Now, today, 2 years down the line, I reflect back on a couple of things and I want to present them to you. Number one, when you are in a narc relationship, one thing is for sure, it's hell. Make no mistake, it is sheer hell. Fact. If you've escaped a narc relationship, you know what I'm talking about. For you, I want to suggest that when you break away, you might go through some cold turkey experiences where your withdrawal of the constant abuse will start to fade away. This abuse will become less and less and less up here. Disclosure. I have a nice TV, but it took me a year before I could watch any of my programs without feeling guilty. An entire year before I could sit down and say, I'm going to watch my forensic science TV programs that I've recorded. Be aware that the process of healing will also bring up guilt. It will bring up remorse, it will bring up anger, it will bring up shame. Not from the narc, but because of you. Bear that in mind. So when you start feeling angry, remorseful and feel ashamed, that's a good thing. Let it out. Myself and Lara, we know exactly how that feels because we've been there. We can help you. That said, observation number 2. Have some good quality, strong, reliable people that you can talk to. They might be completely helpless, like in the shape of my parents. They might be totally useless in terms of what they can do to help. The sheer fact that they are there is a major plus. Get 1, 2, and if you are fortunate, 3 people who you can talk to about what's going on. And initially it will sound like garbage and gobbledygook because you need to try and put everything back together in your head. Believe me, that's no easy task. But once you start speaking about things and this thing breaks in your mind about your abuse and you start disclosing little bits, that's the key. Things will start to crumble as far as these strongholds because of the gaslighting, the triangulation and all the other tactics that are out there to trap you and hold you and pin you down. They will start to crumble, believe me. Number 3 is you have to give yourself time. Do not think for a minute that just because you've escaped for 3 months that you are healed. Don't ever be a fool. It's been 2 years for me and I am still healing in certain areas. Healing takes time. There are certain things that don't affect me at all. I am a lot stronger in those areas because of both the abuse and the healing. And then there are other parts in my life that will take some time still. But I want to encourage you. Number 1, healing does take place. You need to allow it. Get some good friends. Now that the Narc's out of your life, find people in your life that you can rely on. Maybe that best friend that you had years and years ago that got separated from you, maybe it's time. See a therapist. Someone who you can confide in. And do not go to the authority like I did, who was totally useless. Find someone that's got a reputation of success. Really important. And when these feelings come up, it's not your fault. Yes, it's happened. Yes, you need to deal with them. Yes, it's part of the healing. My observation where I'm standing right now, or sitting down right now, is simply this. The future is brighter, much brighter. I have direction. I found purpose. All things part of the healing process. And up here, the stronghold that you used to have, I would suggest that 90% of it is gone. There's still some elements where she still has control. And in spite of speaking to her about it, straight through like a well-polished pipe. But then, you know as well as I do, that's typical Narc. Just a couple of observations that I've experienced over these last couple of years. So there you go. Allow the process to take place. Whatever experience you have with a Narc or because of a Narc, or you've seen other people in a Narc relationship and you couldn't say anything, whatever the case might be, put them in the comments box. Myself and Lara, we know what it's like to not be in a relationship, be in a relationship, and healing after the relationship. Hence this channel. That's it. Invest in yourself. That's what I'm saying. Love yourself. Care about yourself. And if I may, in the words of L'Oreal, you're worth it. For now, this is Mark from Kharischangeworks. I'll speak to you soon.